Yo, what up? It's your main man in the building. Y'all know what it is one time. Corey SB on the scene. You know how we do it. And I am standing here, sitting here, not standing here, with my beautiful, illustrious wife, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing?
I'm good.
You doing all right? Miss Shakana SB. Without further ado.
Yes,
Yeah.
Shakana SB.
And y'all are tuned in to the first episode of My Wife and I, where we're going to talk about my wife and I. You know, how we got together, how we met, the road to marriage. And we're going to talk to other couples about their journey and different things, from people that have been in relationships, people that have failed relationships and why they failed, and other married couples that are wanting to talk about it. So it's going to be a lot going on. But we're just happy to be able to share our journey with you and everything when we met. When did we meet?
Let's see. Technically, we swiped right on February 15th. Swiped. You know.
What we met on?
BLK.
Oh, BLK. So there is love online.
There is love
right?
online, y'all.
Gotcha.
There is. I think we kind of won the lottery in this case, though.
It is.
You
And,
know?
and this episode is brought to you by No Label Water Bottle with our packets in it. You know what I mean? Because that's how we get down.
No label. No label, baby.
Yeah.
Is it good?
It is.
Let me see.
So we met the day before Thanksgiving.
Valentine's Day.
Why did I say Thanksgiving? Why is Thanksgiving stuck on my head? Valentine. And what's crazy is I think a lot of people perceive, because of how we became public with all this, is that we had been knowing each other a long time.
Yeah.
Because I even got a few whispers in my ear that like, oh no, she had to been around before. You get those whispers?
Yes.
He didn't just show up.
You've been talking.
So he just showed up and now he want to marry you?
Now all of a sudden,
Liar.
y'all, this is something that's been building up.
I've been knowing you 10 years.
10. You on my resume.
Gotcha.
Your reference.
No, we actually met the 13th of February last year. Well, excuse me, I can't say last year, but of 2022. Right?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah. And it was an amazing situation. Very peculiar. In how we met. What do you remember about that conversation? Okay, first of all, what was the first impression that you got from the first day that we met?
Well, the first day that we met, you were a gentleman. You were saying like all the right things, you know what I mean? And
Stop the cap. No, I was playing.
It's not cap, y'all. He was saying all the right things. And I was really about to like delete the app. Like I was gonna delete it before Valentine's Day because, you know, of course, anybody's gonna be in your inbox. It's somebody ain't got no Valentine, just trying to, you know.
I ain't think about it like that.
Exactly.
Did you you thought maybe I was trying to get the Valentine's boot creep thing on you?
At first, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But
Gotcha.
out of all the messages I was getting, you were the main one that actually came in and was like respectful.
You remember what I said?
I believe you said something about taking me to church.
Let's go to church. Let's go to church. I need to see if you had demons in you. You know what I'm saying? If I took you over the church line and you start shaking and stuff like this, then I'd be like, God.
Wow.
She got the demons.
That's something that stood out to me the most because for me this round I said, if I'm going for love, I'm going to put God first and let him lead. And whoever was going to be my partner in this, they had to have that same love for God. And so to actually be in a relationship where I can talk about God freely and comfortably and not weird somebody out by it, my faith,
Right.
and the different things I may do, and my partner not be weirded out, that was like the best feeling that increases, I think, almost every day that we've been married. We've been together.
Right. Because we just made a year.
We just
We just made a year.
We still alive.
We still at it. We just made it here. My first impression is her pictures didn't do justice to her, because she was actually way prettier than the pictures in person. Like, for real, y'all can see the smile there. Y'all, come on, man. Y'all see that? It's no brainer. Also, the thing that stuck out to me was the initial thing on our conversations. Because I'll say this. You want to know what really led to me knowing in those 3 days that I was ready to move forward with you? It had nothing to do with love. Nothing to do with love. Because, insanely, we can't just say people that we initially was in love as quick as we got engaged and stuff. So,
Yeah.
There's actually, if people would take the time, come on, I'm gonna back this up with scripture. If you actually would take the time to go to Proverbs 24:3, it talks about the coming together, and in it had nothing to do with love based in it. Mm-hmm. It all talked about skill, comprehending, understanding, compromise, building, knowledge, wisdom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I feel like those are the things that it takes to make a marriage actually work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Because I think God is the covenant part that covers the marriage. But I've never seen anybody go to court during a divorce and ask for all their love back. Never seen that. I've never seen that. So my thing was, you didn't have to be my best friend in the beginning. I didn't need you to have to be able to love. And because we knew those things would grow into it through time.
Right.
But I needed to know what skills you had. I needed to know the comprehension level that you had. I need to know how you understood. And there was a series of questions and things that I gave to you about me that showed me you had that ability.
Very much so.
Yeah. So I knew then that I knew I was ready, because I knew I had been working for me to be in position to do it. So when we had the conversation, I knew at that point you were the one I was ready to turn that switch on with, because of those things. It had nothing to do with love. Because people have this notion that people either have to be in love or, somebody's best friend to turn around and get married to. I didn't need none of those things in the midst of finding her. What I needed was the ability to know that when we develop with each other, that we could actually do that. Right. And not be troubled by trying to lean on love, and we didn't have no skill sets to make this marriage work. That is why.
Agree.
You agree?
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
So take me through, we get through the part, after the conversation, that fourth day, I put a key in your hand and I said I made my decision. What went through your head at that point?
This man's crazy and he's being funny. And how many copies of this key has he given out?
Ooh, copies of the key.
Copies of the key.
So you think people are going to pop up?
At that point, we were still getting to know each other. But I also thought, that's the first thought.
Right.
How many copies of this key he given out? But then also, after our conversation that we had over the 3 days, I was like, this man might actually be for real. Like, he might be serious. Like, I just remember riding home. I don't think I played music on the ride back to the house. And I just remember thinking, like, is he for real? Like, playing the whole 3 days in my head. Because he is like, look, let's pack up. Let's go. Come on. Here's the key. Mm-hmm. Like, make your decision. Because I already know what I want to do. And that's the craziest part. Because I'm like, he can't be serious. I went home and put it on my desk, and I just kind of looked at it. I'm laying in the bed just looking at it like, he's for real. Mm-hmm. Like, this is serious.
So serious that I told her this, y'all. This is Guys Untrue. We was getting ready to come up on another ice storm.
Yeah.
Because we already had one earlier that at the time, in that February. Another one was approaching. So I told her, because she worked from home. I said, hey, if you are into this, ready to move, we about to get locked in again. Pack all your work stuff. We're going to turn this other room into an office, and you'll go in there, and we finna really dive into this thing. What did you look like on the other phone? Because I think we did it over the phone, right? I said it over the phone.
Yeah.
I said it over the phone. So I didn't get to see each other because I think we talked verbally, not FaceTime and anything. So I didn't see your facial expression.
It wasn't shock because you had already given me the key, so I already knew that somewhere in there it's gonna come to where you wanted. It made no sense. I knew. I mean, granted, it was like a 20-minute drive, not too bad, but you get so used to being around somebody so much that to the point where you crave their presence, and just in the whole 3 days, that's one thing that I wanted. Like I craved him. I can't explain it. He literally gave me this whole natural high. Like, I felt like I was floating the whole 3 days. I was like, okay, let's see. And then the fact that you were like, all right, we about to move you in. I'm like, okay, he's for real. Like, he's serious.
You finna go. We about to go.
But what's one key thing I told you that was like a big, big sign for me that I had heard before? You remember? It's okay.
That you had heard before?
Yes, that I had
From a
talked
man?
to God about.
Oh.
And what he told me. So that way I wasn't too shocked. I had to see if it was really...
Buckle up. I think if I'm from my serious, buckle up because it's about to move fast.
It's about to move.
It's about to move fast. Come on. One time with the listen, man. Let you know I'm going to drink on that one, y'all.
Woo. That's what I heard. Literally, I was praying and talking to God. I went through a whole, depressed state. And during that time, I remember just playing my worship music all night while I slept all day. And talking to God and clearly hearing him telling me, buckle up, because it's about to take off. And the craziest part was that my best friend turned around and told me, buckle up. This is all before I met Corey. All before I met Corey. They said the same thing. Buckle up. It's about to take off. And what God had for you is about to come through, and it's about to be so quick and so fast. It's going to blow you off your feet, but it's going to be also reassuring to where you know it's God, no matter what, from beginning to end. And that's honestly what this has been. You felt it? Woo, quickening, right?
It hit me. It hit me. It definitely hit me. So we get to the part here now, and in my head, I'd already started planning the wedding because I'd already planned the engagement. So by week 2, when did I meet your brother? When did we go out? Was that?
I don't think that was week 2. That might have been like week 3 because remember, I remember one night we were in here and we were painting.
Okay.
We were painting the walls, and you were telling me everything. You were telling me how you saw our future, what you wanted. Even driving past the house that you're like, hey, this is where we're gonna live.
I took her to the house.
Took me to the house.
I took her to the house.
And nothing that he said made me feel like he was just, I don't want to say the way that they say it, but just like putting thoughts in my head and selling me a dream.
Blowing steam up your butt.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to say.
Up your butt steam.
Yes.
Cap. Stop the cap. Congratulations, you just played yourself.
All of that. But it wasn't that. Everything was genuine and sincere because I could feel it. I could feel the love building between us to where everything that he said even from day one with the honesty and how open he was with me about his life and his past life and, different things, I had no other option at that point but to understand that everything that was coming out of his mouth was sincere.
Right.
And I never doubted that. I can't even say option. I knew for a fact that everything that he said was sincere.
That was my ring.
I see.
Right.
Was sincere and genuine, and I could always tell, no matter what, you always spoke from your heart. And you always looked me in the eye. That, I don't think you really understand pure honesty until somebody actually looks you in the eye and tells you about this future that they long to have with you. And they're looking you in your eye. They're not just like fidgeted. He's dead set looking me in my eyes. And that's one thing that I love the most about Corey from the beginning is that when he speaks to me, he looks me in my eyes. When I'm speaking to him, he stops everything that's around us to focus on me in that moment. Even if it's something little where I'm like, baby, you don't have to pause the TV. It doesn't matter. He's like, no, I need you to know that I'm focused on you. And,
yeah,
I love you for that.
You do?
I really do.
Let me kiss them now. And that's because, man, one thing that I've learned is you really care about the well-being of who I am for us. You know, and this plan that I'm having to put us in the best position of life to winning. So my return in that is to hear everything. And I'm going to tell y'all why. Because in the midst of this, when I started planning out the engagement, everything that I was doing was based on our conversation. Because even in the midst of planning it out, shout out to my extended sisters, which are her best friends. Even with talking with them, when they would ask me questions, it would be based off me saying, my response was, I know this because we've talked about it. And I heard her. I heard exactly what she's saying. And so the way I was putting it together, which I tricked y'all because I had a thinking that I was getting awarded for my work in the filming industry, which it had nothing to do with it. Thank God. I mean, thank you to everybody that helped me. And one of the biggest things that I heard when I knew that I was approaching why we had to do this in this time frame is because for those that don't know and who tuned in now, she was born Thanksgiving. So with her birthday being November the 26th, which I also found out and shared with her that my mother is November the 26th.
And so that was something that happened on one of those 3 days.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. When she said her birthday, I was shocked, and I went and showed her a picture of my Instagram with me and my mom and I.
And I thought he had beef for Thanksgiving. That's how quickly he sat up when I said November 26th. He sat up so quickly, looked at me like, "That's your actual birthday?" Yeah.
Like, yeah, fool.
You want to see my license?
And you know, you ask a dumb question when you shot behind something. I'm like, yo, that's the birthday you were born on.
That's the day.
Because my head, it didn't register that when she was born, I thought she had 2 birthdays. You know,
sweetest moment.
Yeah, so when I realized that, I took it as a sign that my mom was also a part of everything that was going on. So it was time to move forward. And because with her being born around Thanksgiving means she doesn't really get a chance to be really celebrated because family is usually about the Thanksgiving time frame. So I knew that the wedding needed to be around that time because now I gave people a reason to, and not only people, but me and everybody that's involved with our life, a reason to celebrate her. You know, even though people are going to come down, you know, for Thanksgiving and like with family and stuff. But one thing that's going to happen after that is my wife's celebration and our anniversary is going to happen. So with that, she will be celebrated now. So all this was in my head. So I knew everything had to be on this course of a time frame. So that's how I began moving. And lo and behold, all things went according to plan because she didn't see it coming.
I didn't. I guessed it, but every time I would guess and think that it's about to happen, something else would trigger where it's like, okay, no, he's not.
What's the closest you came to thinking it before it actually got there?
Before it actually got there? Like before the day of?
Yeah. What was the other closest time?
Because Karina kept asking me.
I know you said Karina was really persistent about certain things.
Yes. She was very persistent, like, shout out to my bestie, Karina. But me and her live a good 45 minutes away. So the fact that she was so determined to come here and go find a dress with me. And I'm like, this ain't even a day about me. This is Corey's banquet. Like, I just want to make sure I don't embarrass him. And she was like, okay, you need this jewelry, and you need this, and you need to have that. And then the fact that my hair was done on a Sunday, that should have been the biggest thing. But I was like, you know what? My man's looking out for me. My man got connections, so.
He do. So with Karina being so involved in it, you was like, yo, something ain't right. You know what I mean?
Something's not.
And she kind of like Teen Corey's all of a sudden just like really hard. And it's like,
everybody.
Huh?
And the questions. Everybody just kind of, if Corey was to ask you to marry him tomorrow, what would you say? And I was like, what do you mean? No brainer. That's no question.
And I knew I could do this proposal because she had already said I would marry you in the grass in the backyard. Some stuff like that. She was just
I would marry you under a tree.
Under a tree.
In the backyard.
So I knew this proposal was going to go right because I had got people question me like, man, how you know she's going to marry you? How you know she's going to say yeah? Because I know, fool. I talked to her.
My baby know me.
Let me get on that.
My baby know me. Take a sip, fool.
Take a sip of that. So we get past the engagement. Now starts the journey.
You can't just go past the engagement. We gotta go back a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Back. Who said I love you first?
That's a good one. Who said it? Me?
No, it definitely was not you. It was me, y'all. And when I tell you I was so nervous to say it, I wanted to say it for a while. I think I might have went about maybe 3 days just practicing it. Like I'll go into the bathroom, I would build up the confidence to say it to him. And then I was like, what if he doesn't say it back? Okay, I can't say it. I'm going to go ahead and hold it. I was worried about my own feelings and being rejected. And I just kind of like hinted to it. I think I kept telling you, I like you a lot, or I like you very hard.
Saying I love you wasn't a hard thing, because here's the thing about it. To love someone can be an automatic feeling because there's things about them that you can love. And there were several things about you that I could point out that I loved about you. So saying love you wasn't a hard thing, because that was an honest feeling. That was a fact.
Gotcha.
The in love part took some time because we had to go through the development process. We had to go from the G League to the NBA, and that's what we did. We went from the developmental to the NBA, and so it wasn't. And I knew at this point you had really invested, so I knew the direction we was taking. These things were about to take place.
And we made it through a lot. Even leading up to the engagement, we definitely made it through a lot.
We went to 3 venues.
Oh, no. Before that, we survived a lot together.
We did. Oh, the accident.
An
accident. Ironically, I was going down to meet our parents. We was headed to church. Going down when somebody knocked us half across America. And things caught on fire, and by the grace of God, we made it out of there. And which y'all keep my wife in prayer, because she's still dealing with that. Legally we're still dealing with it, but physically she still is. And so a lot of nights she lay up with a pad on and throughout the day and doing different things to do. And she's been through treatment and different things like that. But because of the legal ramifications right now, we're kind of in the middle, in between this thing. So it's kind of a weight gain, so we can finish the process of getting her, as closely healed as possible.
Yeah.
Because of all that. So
if you do good about making sure my back's massaged and I'm comfortable, you're really good about that.
I'll rub on that thing, because later on at night. But anyway, as I was saying, yes. Made it through that point. And one of the things that I did focus on, too, is because kind of going back to the traditional thing when families would kind of vet individuals. So I wanted to get in front of her father, because I needed him to see me. I needed him to, see me face to face. I needed him to hear me talk. I needed him to know my intentions, all that. And I needed his approval. We also did it through our brother as well. I met a brother, had a conversation with that, because family is big to me. So I needed them to be a part of this, and I needed them to be on board with this. So I needed them to really understand who I was and how I was about to move and what we were about to do. So having those 2 conversations with her brother and her father, 2 of the men that she first loved first throughout everything, I knew was going to mean a lot, because now I was looking to become one of the most important men in her life as well. So I needed the other 2 men that have been the first important men in her life to accept me and to the village. And so that was one of the points of going down and going to church and meeting with her father. Now, what she didn't know is I was actually there with my own agenda, and that was to ask her father, for his approval for me to move forward with this wedding. And so I needed it before the engagement. So that's why it was really crucial, because remember, this happened the day after my birthday. The engagement was planned for April 10th. So and they stay about 2.5 hours. So they ain't like you can just get up and run down the street. So I needed this to go.
Yeah.
And some tried to get in the way, because us getting hit almost. And what was crazy is we got hit, got the car situated because it was totaled, and we went out to eat.
We went out to eat.
Went out to eat. Yes, y'all. And we had to figure all that out. And our parents brought her halfway. I had some people meet us here because we did like 3 trade-offs.
We really did. We did that was a whole like little marathon that day.
Yeah, man. And one thing about it, man, that's why it's really so important in this institution to have a village, man, because there's a lot of people to think about this, just, how her parents handled this, for my people stepping up, man, and then even getting back, man. A good friend of mine, Chelsea, man, she called and was like, yo, tell her come pick this vehicle up. You know what I mean? She took one of her vehicles off the road and, set it up so, my wife was able to still move around outside of everything. So it's always good too, and that's why, because I'm big on family. So I wanted to make sure our families were aligned with things, because she had been around my brothers and stuff like that, and cousins and stuff. So no, not yet. You hadn't met them yet.
I don't think I met. I had met Jason the day before the accident.
Oh yeah. You had the party. Daphne.
I met Daphne.
Met him the day before. She hadn't really insulated her with my family, but. I tell her, my family's big on family. We was just, getting everything together. My family was reuniting. We was reconstructing. So she come in the midst of all that coming together.
I met Bo. I met Kitty.
Yeah.
I met Tank.
And, so after that party, it was really about to step into its place. Because now that we're getting closer to April, it was setting everything in stone. And, crazy part is, we was faking our parents not being able to make it. And our parents really didn't get a chance to make it.
We spoke
Because they end up, we spoke that right in existence because they ended up having a blowout after hitting the pothole, and it kept them from making it. But they still got to see everything.
They did, though. So
now with that journey, y'all, we got to the whole wedding thing, which was beautiful. So you can see some of the pictures we've taken. Through all that, one of the things people had always asked about, because we had come public about us abstaining 3 months outside of our getting married, what was that situation like for you? Going that route from us, stepping away from the sexual paralysis of this.
It wasn't, I guess, the most honest and blunt way. We had more of a whole bunch of things happening around us, a lot of things going on, to where it didn't become something that was happening frequently. So when it came time, 3 months before the wedding, when we both just kind of realized, okay, you good? Okay. Now don't get me wrong. Of course, at one point in there, I'm sitting here like, okay, well, it's not happening, but we have a whole bunch going on around us, but it's not happening like it was before. Mm-hmm. And of course, it did get in my head at first until we actually sat down and had our conversation. We're like, okay, and then we're like, okay, let's go ahead and implement the, 3 months. But beforehand, it made me be like, okay, well, is it me? Is it something that I did? Are we not communicating in that kind of way? Because for me, I'm a very sexual person. I like to say I have these little spells to where I want it and I want it and I want it that whole day. And I don't know if you've experienced the spells yet. But at that moment, I'm like, okay, this is how I like it. This is how I want it. And it just stopped. So when we actually did have that conversation about waiting the 3 months, it made more sense. I was more comfortable because I understood why we were doing it. We're getting ready to get married, so it was almost like a cleanse in a way. Yeah. And then especially being able to have the marriage counseling, which was with my parents who are pastors, and to be so honest and comfortable when we had that conversation. When we actually sat there and talked, they're like, okay, now y'all need to wait, abstain from having sex since you're a month before. We're like, oh, we've been doing that.
We've been on it.
We've been
and
on it.
It was like, what? I'm like, yeah. That's where we at right now. And most people would probably say, when you think about getting counseling, you should go to people that neither one of you know. Here's my thing. I think you should go to people that are unbiased. And sometimes relationships make you biased. But after getting around and meeting her parents and different things like that, I knew walking into this, they were going to stand on the side of right. So I had no problems going down that road with them in it. And I knew I was prepared to walk down this road because I consciously started doing the work to get down this road. So a lot of it meant, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. And so it was cool with me.
I wasn't uncomfortable. My mom's very, very blunt and direct, and she don't have nothing back. So
Right.
living with her 35 years, I already know how my mom is. So a lot of the stuff that I knew we were going to have and the conversations we were going to have, I was already prepared for.
I ain't gonna tell y'all the conversation advice she gave me after the wedding. But she's very straight to the point. I'll leave it right there.
No,
I'll leave it right there.
that's your mother-in-law.
Solid. Love her to death. You know. So it was at that point it was really, really cool. Going through it, doing the work, y'all. We had to do work. It wasn't like we just got on there and started talking. You know, we were given assignments. We had to, do things and turn it in and go have a discussion about it. So we really went down into really preparing to walk through this journey with one another.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't something just fly by night, even though it happened. And we always talk about this. It's crazy because they say it takes a man, it won't take a man long to figure out if he wants to marry a woman. But, when you hear it out, say it and you hear it out loud and somebody should do it, first thing people ask you is, are y'all ready? Do y'all know enough about each other? We knew enough to get married. And we've been developing the rest. And as you see, if whoever follows us, one thing about it, whatever we've been going through, and the way that the enemy is to try to attack us, it ain't made us turn. Because we communicate, and even when sometimes our moment, or we have these tense moments, like I tell people, we have a process that we go through. And that process, allows us to be in a place that we don't blow up. We've had 2 blow-ups since being together, and that was before we was married. And we can identify them. That's how we know the 2 bloods were. And we said this wasn't going to be the identity of our marriage, and we've held true to that. We've held true to what we're doing. We receive it, and we process it, and then we proceed to move forward to getting down to the root issue of it. And that's been a beneficial thing to us. To not going down that route. Even when we be like, I texted her one day. She was trying to be stubborn though. We had a disagreement, and I texted her a kissy emoji. And she tried to ignore it. She couldn't hold on it for long. When I came back, I threw it in her face.
I didn't think he. Yeah, I did. I was a little. I'll admit it. I was a little bothered by him that day. We were going back and forth, and it was unnecessary. I felt this. Well, anyway, we're not even going to touch it again. We left the word attack. But, yes, he did text me, and I did. My phone's under the pillow. If he texts this, he's going to be talking to himself. That's how I felt. But I can't. That's the main thing. I can't stay mad at him. I cannot stay mad at him.
Because we like to cuddle too much.
We really do.
We do.
We
we have separate rooms in our house and stuff that we sleep in the same bedroom, but I'm saying throughout the day we have different rooms to be in because we be in different things. In our office, even in our office she has a bed in there, and sometimes I just go in there while she's working and stuff, and I'll lay in the bed and talk with her in between things she's doing. And sometimes even we watch TV because sometimes we have our shows together and we have our personal shows. So sometimes we'll go in each other's rooms and talk and kiss on each other, and then for a minute, then we go back and do what we're doing. So it's kind of this check in and out thing because we become homebodies, but we found a way to coexist and have a hell of a time at home, enjoying it in that in the midst of it. Because we don't really get out. There's so much trouble in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like it right here with you.
Oh, when you.
Because you got me.
And I got you.
And we got each other.
That's what we do. So yeah, man, I tell you what, and that's the thing about what we have going on, man. I just want y'all to stay more involved because we're gonna be dropping a lot more that's going on right here on My Wife and I. And next time you see us, man, we're gonna have some guests in the building that's gonna be talking about their relationships, man. I think one of the next episodes we shooting, my main man coming in the building, man, he's gonna talk about his new movie, his new relationships, and the things about that and how each perceive thing. And it's gonna be good.
I'm excited.
Yeah, because my wife and I, we got this.
We got this.
So stay tuned, man, and definitely support. Click the link, whatever it is, subscribe to a new YouTube channel, and because got some good things. We're actually working on a new show called Date and Debate. You know what I mean? And it's going to be a dating show with a really cool twist to it. So stay tuned for that as well.
Yes.
Anything else you want them to know?
Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Stay black.
Stay black. Chaba! Till next time, man. We'll see y'all around, man. Thank y'all for joining us on the first episode of My Wife and I. With My Wife and I.
My wife and I.
Come on. Bow. Peace.